What is a proportion? Well, a proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal. And we just learned that ratios are fractions. So if you set two fractions equal to each other, you've just created basically a mathematical sentence that has like a verb and a noun. You have two things equal to each other, and those can be solved. So we're going to talk about how to solve proportions and how to set them up. So the property of proportions states if A, B, C, and D are all real numbers, and we want to make sure that B and D are not zero. If you take the fraction A over B and you set it equal to the fraction C over D, that is a true statement if and only if AD, which would be this diagonal, is equal to BC, which is the other diagonal. This is only a true statement if the diagonals are equal. And this was something we talked about with trying to determine if two fractions are equivalent, is you can compare the products of the diagonals. They should be the same. So that's how we're going to solve. We're going to cross multiply. It's one of the easiest ways to solve equations. So anytime you have a fraction equal to a fraction, this is the method you can use. That's technically called a proportion. So let's just practice solving a couple proportions. We have x over 200 equals negative 2 over 50, and we're trying to figure out what value of x would make this a true statement. So I always like to start with the diagonal that has the x in it. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to say 50x is going to be equal to the other diagonal. And the other diagonal is negative 2 times 200, which is going to be negative 400. And then you can think to yourself, what number could I multiply 50 by to get negative 400? Or if you don't want to have to think about it, you can do the reverse. You can do the inverse operation to solve this. So since the 50 and the x are multiplied, I can divide by 50 to isolate just the x. And if you divide by 50, negative 400 divided by 50 is negative 8. So the mystery number that would make this a true statement is negative 8. But all they want is just whatever x is equal to. That's how you solve a basic proportion. Let's try the next one. 7/10 equals 4 divided by 3x. So again, I start with the diagonal that has the variable. 7 times 3x, that's 21x. And if we multiply the other way, 10 times 4 is 40. And so then 21 times some mystery number would equal 40. We can divide by 21. And we're going to get x equals, now before you jump to a calculator and get a decimal, we haven't really even talked about decimals yet, just leave it as a fraction. And if you can reduce the fraction, reduce the fraction. But you know, 21 is 3 times 7. And there's not any 3s or 7s inside of 40. So this is actually already a reduced fraction. Don't go to the calculator and get a decimal. We're not there yet. Fractions. Fractions is where we started, and fractions is kind of where we want to end here. So you should get some sort of like a nice integer value or a fraction as your answer on these.